Okay, hello everyone, and today it's not about the last episode now of these dolls now, but instead of having the last episode, let's learn about our vocabularies that we have to know. But then I'm gonna get us some of the plural noun errors for you guys so you guys can know more and doesn't got any mistakes about those. So let's learn about vocabularies first and then we're going to get them. Okay? We've got situation, repetition, repetition. Oh. Slide, relieve, require, acquisition, a little hard to read for a little, perspective, delicacy, universal, moderation, culture, and last is climate. So many words and so many hard things to know. So let's start and learn about this. First is situation. You know, situation is position to respect to condition. Kind of like in experiments, though. Kind of like that. Well, I don't really understand those, so sometimes I have to learn more so I can tell more about you. I cannot search Google right now because I'm busy, okay? Next was repetition. Repetition means action of repeating something that was said or written. Kind of like a subject in your school. A teacher gonna read kind of like let me try to find some things. For example, a small example or something, I don't know. I know this one. Like she holding a book and then she said she read it again and again for her student to write it. So you're repeating what she says out, isn't it? Isn't it true? And of course. And sometimes you could just call it repeating again and again and again. Kind of like that. Or sometimes you have been write something on the wrong paper or on the wrong something or object, I don't know. Then you have to repetition it back on the correct thing you have to do. Kind of like that though. Next was a slight. Slight means small of a kind or an amount. It kind of like this one. This one's really slight though. It's really small. And that's why it's for tiny little toys. And look how tiny it is. It's really tiny though. So it's really slight. Kind of like that, I believe. Next was relief. Relief is kind of like cause pain or difficulty to become less serious. Like you got too much pain, then you cannot serious by something anymore. Like at me. For tense, I'm hurting at my leg or something. And then I cannot seriously to walk anymore. But instead I kept on falling down and stand up and then fall down, stand up, trying to walk back to my house to heal something and keep on falling down. That's kind of like relief, I believe. Next was require. Require is kind of like to need of, depend upon, and want. Let me get an example of a sentences. a newborn baby needs a lot of relief. That means they need a lot of want and interest. That because the first thing is for you. The next thing is you have to take care of them. That because they haven't know anything. Or can't even know how to shrug shoulders. Even like me, if I even shrug my shoulders, they wouldn't even understand. Even when I talk to them, they don't understand the little thingy because they're born babies and they have to learn from their behaviors. Isn't that correct? Kind of like us though. When you born up, after you're born, do you ever even know how to wear your own shirt and then walk and talk and then do everything that people do? Well, it's not. You have to learn and mostly a baby is kind of like a king or queen, I believe. That be kind of like we cried out for something and then you came and you have to fight what we need. It's kind of, we don't know how to talk, so you must think. First, we need to sleep. Second, we want to eat. And third, they want to play or go to poop or something. I don't know. Kind of like that. Next was acquisition. Acquisition is kind of like buys for collection, I believe. I kind of like I kept on collectioning tiny little toys for my collectors. Not really. Actually, I kept on collecting money, I believe. I didn't got a piggy bank, but actually my piggy bank in my backpack. And nobody knows. Nobody. Except my family, I believe. And of course it is. Next was perspective. Perspective means the evolution of a situation from a point of view. A pretty hard word. Maybe I need to study more about this word. So let's move to another specialty word, mostly for royalties, I believe. It was delicacy. Delicacy means like to get something nice to eat or having a need of tact. It's like you got something like you got some good Chinese delicacy for dinner. That's pretty good. Or Japanese, though. I only know how to Japanese food, but Chinese, I wouldn't even know that for anything. I don't even know what they eat, though. Next was universal. Universal is you heard it, kind of like, it's kind of like a school or something for teenagers. Well, it's kind of like them. But let's see this. Universal means relating to the whole world. So that universality thingy isn't a kind of school or something, I believe. Well, instead, let me take an example of them. The earth pollution is universal to the whole world. Or to the whole earth. Yeah, that's kind of make more sense, isn't it? Next was moderation. Moderation means process of limiting or lessening extremes. Process of limiting or lessening extremes. Process of limiting or lessening extremes. Yes, still weird. So we've got 3 words that I have to learn some more. Situation, perspective, and moderation. Yeah, those words. It's gonna make my head blow off my head. I mean my brain, I know. Culture means beliefs and values of a group. Another word to go to a more learning group. Yeah, a more learning squad. I have to learn more about those new words. I never believed that the more super harder it is. Maybe I need to keep on searching and learning about those. And last was climate. Climate is kind of like our Earth pollutes into the air a lot and it makes a greenhouse. That's when it starts to go to Antarctica and it starts to make all the ice bears melting and all the seals and all the polar bears cannot live without ice. So you must stop polluting the earth, I believe. So it's kind of like that. Well, the easiest way to hear is I don't want to write it, so I write it. Yeah, no? That's because I still remembered it, I believe. And it's time for my plural noun errors that you need to watch for when you talk or when you write. You know, plural nouns. Plural nouns mean that is more than one. You still remember that? If you don't remember, kind of like dogs, houses, cars, buses, truck, horses. Some words make up the AS at the end, like houses and buses. But some only got the S at the end, like dogs and trucks and cars. It's kind of like that though. So sometimes you may have to watch out though. And those plural nouns mean more than one. I just said to you, isn't that true? Maybe I deserve a slap. Of course. Next was irregular plural noun. Irregular plural noun. It's kind of weird. So actually, irregular plural nouns usually turn F to V, like life to lives, wolf to wolves, leaf to leaves, wife to wives. Kind of a weird word, I believe. Knife to knives. So, if those special words got more than one, when it turned to plural nouns, it's gonna have to turn an F turn to a V. So you never gonna read like lives. That sounds weird. And wolves, and knives, and leaves. That's really weird. You better need to turn F to a V so it sound more makes sense. Because those things are weird, but I prefer that the wife one gonna go to stays the F, because the word wives make me feel like there's no sense or anything, I believe. Well, let's go to the change spelling squad. That sounds weird. Change spelling from woman to woman, child to children, mouse to mice, and goose to geese. So you will never write or said or read or anything. You're gonna never spell the word gooses. But instead, it got the word geese instead. So it's gonna make more sense than usual. and woman. You never gonna get, so woman's. That's weird. And children. You can add an S to them. Children's. But you never gonna say child's. More than one child? That is so weird, though. Mouse. You never gonna read mouses. You're gonna change it to mice. And that will be more better. Next was the stays one. That means even when it got more than one, it still keep the normally one. It doesn't add the ES on the end or to add the S on the end. Kind of like fish, deer, and sheep. Even there got more than one fish, it still got fish. There got many fish out here. You never gonna read there are many fishes out here. That is making no sense. And nobody gonna understand what you said with those words. What about deer? You never gonna read in the forest where got loads of deers. But instead of the word deers, you must need to do that to deer. At the forest, there got a lot of deer. Oh, also sheep. At the barn, you would just said a lot of sheep is here. You never gonna say at the barn, we're always got a lot of sheeps. No, never gonna read like that, okay? So after you guys learning to this, if you learn something, give me a like. And also subscribe too. And I hope you learn what I said though. Just don't push the button unlike. If you still want to waiting for the last episode, I promise the next video I will make them. I promise. So goodbye. I hope you got a good time. And also use all the plural noun errors and the vocabulary words to your sentences that you're reading or saying. Goodbye.